SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader.
A promise from the new Chief Justice and COSATU wages war against labour brokers. Good evening, I'm Greg Goos. Chief Justice designate Mogoeng has promised not to betray the trust bestowed on him of leading the judiciary. President Jacob Zuma today endorsed a recommendation by the JSC to appoint Mogoeng as the country's top judge. Gender activists have slammed the announcement. Justice Mogoeng says he will never disappoint South Africa.
I take this opportunity to thank you for the trust and confidence you have reposed in me on behalf of the nation. I undertake not to betray this trust. I also vow to be faithful to the Republic of South Africa, to uphold and protect the Constitution and the human rights entrenched in it, and to administer justice to all persons, alike without fear, favor, or prejudice, in accordance with the Constitution and the law.
Grahamstown police have arrested an international fugitive who's wanted for 26 counts of high-profile bank fraud and other cases of forgery in Germany. Police say Ralph Buber was arrested in Port Elizabeth. He'd been moving around the Eastern Cape during the past 6 months. His permit to visit South Africa expired in 2007. A warrant of arrest was obtained through Interpol. The Hawks are probing his possible involvement in other crimes. He will appear in court tomorrow and may be extradited soon. Drug-related crime will continue to increase unless there's a concerted effort to educate the youth about the dangers and consequences of using drugs. That's according to the South African National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence. The organisation was reacting to latest crime figures released by the police minister. It shows drug-related crime rose by 12% over the past financial year. The council's Shamin Garda.
It can only increase if we don't do anything about it, and what we would suggest is that more combined prevention efforts with NGOs, that would be SAPS and other departments, to communities, schools and the workplace. The drug busts are very, very good, but on an everyday level we need more law enforcement, stricter, closer monitoring by SAPS at points of sale of alcohol and drugs, because that's where it starts.
COSATU's General Secretary Zwelinzima Vavi says the battle against labour brokers is on. Addressing the final day of the National Congress of the Food and Allied Workers Union in Johannesburg today, Vavi said unless business comes to the table on this issue, the giant labour federation will bring the country to a halt in a general strike on October 5th.
That's the principle we're going to be fighting on. Unless these business fellows can come to their senses, we want a total ban of the labor brokers. We want to be employed directly by those who are benefiting from our labor and not by a third man.
Head of the Antarctic Research Programme, Henry Valentine, says government still has to decide on the future role of the polar research vessel, the SA Agulhas. The ship sailed from Cape Town's Table Bay today on its final trip to Gough Island. It'll be decommissioned in April next year. Forces loyal to former Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi have been firing rockets at opposition targets from the town of Bani Walid. Earlier, Gaddafi sent out a defiant message to supporters urging them to fight on. The BBC's Richard Galpin.
About 10 Grad rockets landed near rebel positions some way from Bani Walid. Soon afterwards, we heard NATO aircraft circling in the sky above, searching for the rocket launchers. Overnight, there was a skirmish between the rebels and Gaddafi loyalists in which one man was killed and another injured. The situation is getting increasingly tense as a deadline, which has already been extended once, now approaches. The rebels say they've completely surrounded the town, but the chief negotiator for the rebels, Abdullah Kinshil, told journalists he believed there was still time to bring about a peaceful solution.
Meanwhile, War Crimes Court prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo has asked Interpol to help with the arrest of Gaddafi for alleged crimes against humanity. The top story at 6, the Chief Justice designate Mogoeng has promised not to betray the trust bestowed on him of leading the country's judiciary.